Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community, and multiple people have awared me, and I went to check it out, that apparently Igor from Vitruvian Physique just decided to take a pop shot at me for no reason. The guy jumped up and basically said, and I'm going to quote him, he said that I have genetics so bad that God hates me.
Nice audio. Koth. The echo is pissing. Laugh out loud at you using filters to hide your ever-increasing horrible skin.
I don't have the best genetics. I don't think I have bad genetics, so to say, but I think on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being like, oh my god, you're Mr. Olympia, 0 being like, I'm sorry, God hates you, I'm probably somewhere between, maybe a 6. I think I'm a little bit above average because, again, I'm 6 feet, 200 pounds, a decent amount of strength. I've been doing this for a while. But I don't think I'm anywhere near genetically gifted.
It's like seriously, dude, you're a weak-ass little pussy with no calves. You know, guys, I think it's weird that he did that. Because I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't claim to be a bodybuilder.
You used to want to be a bodybuilder but failed miserably.
There's people who seem to think that I've never been a bodybuilder. They always see things online. People say Jason doesn't know how to cut. He's never had a six-pack, never been single-digit body fat, and I laugh my ass off because these people are completely unaware of my personal background. I have been 5% body fat before. I fucking hate it, but I've been there. And I do know how to get there. And a lot of people aren't aware, but I have been contest ripped before when younger. Needless to say, this hasn't been any time near the last decade. When people ask me, why don't you do bodybuilding anymore? I go, because I couldn't stand contest prep. I've done 3 bodybuilding shows in my life. And I was immediately at, say, 13, 14% body fat within a month of that show because I can't handle it psychologically. All I do is think about food. And when I get to 10% or lower body fat, nobody can stand to be around me because I turn into the most enormous asshole. Number one, the picture you used, everybody knows that's not what I actually look like. Long story as to why that picture's floating around. I don't actually look like that.
0 being like, I'm sorry, God hates you.
Number one, the picture you used, everybody knows that's not what I actually look like. Long story as to why that picture's floating around. I don't actually look like that. Still holding a fair amount of water, a fair amount of body fat, and we'll just assess this from time to time as we go, just to document it. Alright guys, so there you have it. Those love handles are still pretty bad, but that's just my genetics, I gotta live with it. That's just my genetics, I gotta live with it. That's just my genetics, I gotta live with it. Threw that up there, and the guy's going to stand there and talk about genetics, and I guess this was his way of bragging that he has great genetics.
I don't have the best genetics. I don't think I'm anywhere near genetically gifted.
He's trying to claim that I don't. Going to come at a 40-something-year-old power lifter about my bodybuilding genetics, I guess, because that's what it was about. Jason's got the worst genetics on YouTube. Okay, so if I end up pulling all this off, and some people already were shocked already when I've taken a shirtless photo already, they're accusing me of photoshopping.
You have admitted to manipulating photos in the past. November the 27th, 2017 to be exact.
But Brittany put up a photo on my Instagram yesterday, obviously had some filters, and some people are like, oh my god, filters. Oh, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. You know the truth of it, guys? Brittany saw me in the half natty lighting in the gym, and when I say half natty lighting, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to claim to be natty. It's stealing Ogus's stuff of lighting sometimes in a gym makes you look, especially when you have a pump, makes you look a lot bigger and leaner than you often see yourself day to day. We all are aware of that. That's a good way to joke about half natty lighting. But, she put the filter up because she took the original photo. She took the original photo and she's like, oh, you look too pale in here, because I don't tan, I am pretty pale. And so she ran it through a couple filters on her phone, and shot it straight to Instagram from her phone. All right, it didn't go onto the computer or anything else. There was no Photoshop. She ran some filters. When she put the photo up, I was like, oh my god, I don't look like that. Oh my god, I don't look like that. Oh my god, I don't look like that. Oh my god, I don't look like that.
His ex was asked what she thought of the new mirror selfie. She says, I taught that fucker all that he knows.
Oh my god, I don't look like that. Oh my god, I don't look like that. I'm going to want these guys to all acknowledge that I have the most knowledge on YouTube, because if I have the worst genetics, of anybody in YouTube fitness, in an Igor's case claiming that my genetics are so bad that God hates me, then I want them to all acknowledge when it's done, if I'm bigger and stronger than all these guys are, and no, a 530 deadlift is not strong. You're talking about coaching people and having knowledge of training with a 530 deadlift. Like, wow.
Jason has only ever done 2 powerlifting meets in his life, both of which were in 2014. His first event he could only deadlift 530 pounds.
If he has these amazing genetics, which is, I guess, what he's bragging about, in the video of, look how great I look, I've got these genetics, and guys like Blaha have none.
I don't have the best genetics. I don't think I'm anywhere near genetically gifted.
Then why are you so weak? If you're a knowledgeable coach, right? If you are a knowledgeable coach with these amazing genetics, why do you have a 530 deadlift and a 420 pound squat with knee sleeves? Knee sleeves add like 10, 15 pounds. You know that, right? That's not even raw. I don't know why the IPF allows it and calls it raw. That's bullshit too. But so we'll call it. You'll call your 420 squat while weighing over 200 pounds, because he competed in the 93 kilo. He would have been in the same class as me at my last meet. And I think I opened with a 486 squat. That was my opener.
Your opening squat was 485 pounds, and you failed on your attempt, as you can see here. You did, however, make it on your second attempt. Also, you were on a large combination of steroids.
Let's keep in mind, I was also on testosterone, Arimidex, and clenbuterol the final week. And we'll use that to get way underweight so that I can actually train hard and make massive strength gains during my prep. And yes, for those who keep asking, that massive strength gains with a small calorie surplus will include upping the dose. Because I'm not going to bullshit you guys and tell you that I'm not going to use a fairly decent amount of tests for that.
Are you still natty? Do you plan on staying natural your whole life? Do you ever plan on using steroids? Pretty much people are asking, am I ever going to cross over to the dark side? And the answer to that is probably not. However, I would be lying if I said I haven't thought about it. And I think anybody in the fitness industry, or who just works out and takes it somewhat seriously, who says that they haven't thought about it, that's bullshit. They're lying. It's hard not to think about it. Here's something that will make you lose body fats, put on muscle, put on strength. It's like, okay, sign me up. And for me, besides the whole moral aspect of it, and I just don't want to do that, and I don't want to get, I like keeping bodybuilding as just like lift and eat, and I don't want to turn it into the science experiment. Also, a big factor is, guys, especially for those who have ever, accused me of being on something. Number one, thank you. I appreciate that so much. You don't know how much that means to me. I think it is in every natural bodybuilder's goal to reach a point where some other people are starting to get suspicious and start, throwing accusations, because that means you've approached that that barrier where you don't know if he is or he isn't. And that's the best that you can. That's the best thing you could ever, possibly achieve as a natural athlete. In my case, I can never probably do it simply from a health standpoint, even if I wanted to. And I don't want to get to a point, I'm not going to sacrifice my face for a little bit of extra muscles, because let's be honest, on social media, you need to look pretty. It's, you have to be personable, you have to have good content. Yes, that's all understandable. But at the end of the day, you have to look the part. So your visual appearance is equally as important as your physique, whether we like to admit it or not. So I'm not going to sacrifice one for the other.
You have a 420 squat, and you're supposedly a knowledgeable coach. A
lot of people say that you seem like you know what you're talking about, and you really understand the science behind it. Because I'm not just sitting here saying take protein because protein is good. No, I actually can tell you, I understand what it is, on the molecular structure, protein is composed of amino acids, which have an amino group, a nitrogen group. Here's a molecular structure that can combine together into, primary, secondary, tertiary structures, which form proteins, which, then muscle protein synthesis, the whole sliding filament theory, how it all works. I'm not going to talk about this forever, but, I have a pretty decent scientific understanding of the actual, microscopic events that happen and why this is bad or this is good, because I took a 4-year science degree in this stuff. I have a degree in human physiology, and I took courses in human physiology, anatomy, cellular physiology, microbiology, biochemistry.
And you're supposedly a knowledgeable coach who has all this evidence-based practice and that you offer training services and coaching services, but you're weak as fuck. I mean, you're in your 20s. You got great body composition. You supposedly have great genetics, and if you have training knowledge, then why are you weak? Why do you have a 420 squat? Why do you have a 530 deadlift? You're over 200 pounds. And you're in your 20s with years of training experience. That's completely unacceptable. Right? That's completely unacceptable. Like a 500 deadlift is what I expect novice lifters to get in 2 years on a good strength program if they bulk and gain muscle and everything else. Like 2 years to be at 500. Like your all-time lifetime best is 530? Where's your knowledge? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, look, to anybody listening, if this is what he can do in terms of strength, then all of his aesthetics are clearly just a result of genetics and dieting, right? He knows how to cut down. He knows how to eat. It has nothing to do with training. Because I wouldn't hire a coach who's that weak. If a guy is genetically gifted like that and is that weak on his training program, he isn't qualified to be a coach. He's not qualified to be a coach. There's your evidence. He might be qualified to help you with your diet. Hey, maybe you guys could hire him to do a meal prep for you. Right? You could do a meal prep. You could hire him to help you with that stuff, right? To help you get lean, but he knows jack shit about training. Knows jack shit about training. I mean, a 420 squat for a man who weighed over 200 pounds at weigh-in. I mean, the 93 kilo guys, that's over 200 pounds. And that's allowing a water cut first. Seriously, bro? And you're going to talk about other people and smash other people on their genetics? When you have a 420 squat in comp weighing over 200 pounds as an expert? Jesus Christ.
What does it mean to take the Lord's name in vain? Growing up, they say, don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
What does that mean?
It is the third commandment, right? Where it says, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. So what's that mean is the question. And a simple way to answer this question is ask yourself, what does it mean to do anything that is vain? Vain is the same, what's the root word of vanity? Vanity means for your own selfish interest. God is not there for you to use as a pigeon for your anger or your emotional outburst. He's also not there for you to somehow bring greater effect to your words. God is to be reverenced and worshiped and honored and to be humble before. You're his servant.
You know, I've got people who've asked me lately all these questions about the fact that I became religious again, that I believe in God. For me, I became a Christian again this year. Jesus Christ. This guy's a charlatan. He's a fraud. He shouldn't be coaching anybody. This guy is only qualified to help you diet down and get lean and get abs, because he clearly knows jack shit about training with his supposedly amazing genetics putting up numbers like that. I'm sorry, that's just completely unacceptable. Terrible strength coach. Terrible strength coach. And again, I'm going to point out the other thing. Okay, he wants to talk about people's genetics, and I'm not a bodybuilder, but I do know that bodybuilding genetics, they look at things like your calves. Where the hell are your calves? Where are your calves, Mr. Genetics? You diet down and get lean with abs. Okay, man. Hey, man, I can respect that. Hey, I'm cutting right now myself. But, I mean, I've just got to be honest here, because I don't claim to have great genetics in any regard other than maybe my calves, maybe my back. I'm not genetically gifted. I'm not genetically blessed. But if you're going to run around bragging about your genetics while insulting the genetics of other lifters, and you're that goddamn weak, I mean, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. They really shouldn't, man. Because if you're genetically gifted and putting up numbers like that, your training has to be absolutely atrocious. It's got to be bad. It has to be. I don't know what his training looks like because I don't know a lot about the guy. But I mean, again, if he's such a genetic freak with such amazing genetics compared to me, walking in at over 200 pounds in comp with knee sleeves, peaked, all of that stuff, a 420 squat and a 530 deadlift. Wow. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. God hates me?